getting into the inspirational section of the conference with speakers and nominations for the award and the celebratory elements of the conference. Are we online? Yes. Well, good. Our next speaker has done Inclusive Business Journey for 8 years now. In 2005, she founded Sylva Food Solutions to provide an efficient and viable avenue for enhancing economic empowerment of rural smallholder farmers. She became an Ashoka Fellow in 2012, and she is also president for the African Women's Entrepreneurship Program that operates in 48 countries. So it's a great pleasure for us to have you, Sylvia Banda, to join us today and to present how you have made it.
Good afternoon. Okay. Yes, probably what I could, let me try to take you a little bit back, maybe one step backwards, that the 8 years which Ruth has talked about, that is one line of operation, which is Sylva Food Solutions. But for the other two companies, we have also Sylva Professional Catering Services. It has been in existence for the past 27 years. And also we have a college where we train students to become caterers like myself. It has been running for the past 18 years, and we train students between certificate and diploma level. But right now, we have just finished constructing a university, and we are going to open the doors to the public next year in January. Now, coming to the company which has made you stand before you, I'll concentrate on the Sylva Food Solutions. This is the company which, as Ruthie rightly put it, we started 8 years ago. We work with the rural farmers in the rural areas where we go to train them so that they become professionals in the supply of their vegetables to us. In our programming, we teach them the hygiene factor, the curative values of food, and also the 14 methods of cooking. Why we bring that one is that we are trying to help the farmers to acknowledge the nutrition content in the food so that they help their families as well. So far, we have trained more than 12,500 farmers in the rural areas. We have a program which we call a training of trainers, whereby when we train a certain group of farmers as ourselves, we are expecting these farmers also to train others. Say, for instance, if I train 5 people, those 5 people, they will train 3 people, and those 3 will train 2. That is how we normally conduct our training. The issue we are talking about is the problem of malnutrition, which is a huge problem. As you can see from some of the newspapers which have talked about nutrition. So that is where we capitalize from Sylva Food Solutions. As I said, we work with smallholder farmers, and we are the processors. Once we process the foodstuffs, we increase the quality and also the nutrients in them. And also, we send these foodstuffs to the retail stores. And from the retail stores, the population benefit from our products, and also the state. I talked about the supply and demand, the manner in which we conduct our training. If you have seen, this is what I've already talked about, where one person will train 5, 5 will also train, just like that. From the geographical expansion, We have been to all the 10 provinces of Zambia, and also we sell our products. We started selling our products locally. Then we moved on to our neighboring countries, Malawi, Congo, and Zimbabwe. And we have also moved to America, where we are exporting. I'll talk about that later. Then if you look at our products, these are some of the products which we have. We package the dried vegetables beautifully like that. And when we started exporting, especially into America, we were only targeting the Africans in diaspora because we knew that those could remember how their grandmothers used to prepare these type of vegetables. But we were at pains because we knew that our food, our products are highly nutritious, which could help everyone on this Mother Earth. This is how we went to the drawing board and we came up with the soups. We make moringa soup, as you can see from that slide. We also make soups from other traditional vegetables like pumpkin leaves, amaranthus, and also cowpeas, not cowpeas, but sweet potato leaves. We also make tea bags from moringa, and we have again developed another highly nutritious product that is porridge. This is good for children who are malnourished and also those that have got different problems. Once you introduce this type of porridge, you'll find that within a short period of time, someone changes. And also these same products, we are in the process of introducing it in the school feeding program. And also we are busy discussing also with World Food Program so that they can make use of our products. Then the scaling of supply and demand at every step of the supply chain. Just as I mentioned, we have three ways in which we are expanding and also trying to scale down, especially the scale up, We have the franchise, which we are seriously discussing. In fact, where training is concerned, we are doing very well. And also, we have the pig backing, where we enable the smallholders by training of the trainers, which I talked about already, and also campaigns stimulate demand for the local foods. This is what I talked about. This is how we normally do the training. These are the women in the rural areas. We train them using the solar dryers. When we started, we were just using the sun to dry the vegetables. But we discovered that when we analyzed those vegetables in the labs, we were getting very little from the vegetables because we were compromising where the nutrients are concerned. Because if the vegetables are not dried today, tomorrow they will be subjected to the sun. The other day you'll find one product you can dry 5 days. And in the process, you lose all the nutrients. But when we introduce the solar dryer, you'll find that one is hygienic. As you can see from the ladies, they are not doctors, they are farmers. But we allow them to do like this because some of the vegetables, when they are processing, it has got a lot of, stronger smell, like the cassava, it has got some cyanide in them. So you find that if someone is not covering their mouth, he may sneeze, and when someone is sneezing, it doesn't knock to say, I'm about to sneeze. So because of that, we allow them to dress up the way you have seen them dressed. Also, when we started getting the products from the farmers, we thought that the idea could just be, we get them, then we package them and we sell. But it has attracted a lot of attention from the farmers, whereby more and more farmers have come on board. Even right now, some 2 months ago, we signed the MOU with a consortium of NGOs, where now they want us to train 16,800 farmers for 2013-14 and part of the 15th season. And what it means is that all these farmers that we train now, they will push us, because they want to supply. And as they are supplying, we have to find a way of, using the vegetables which are coming from them. That is the reason why we have come up with now a factory where we should process all these products for our farmers. And also the line of production, so that we'll be able to get all the products from the farmers. We use the television as one way of sensitizing the people. We also use the newspapers, and also you use the internet, and also I can say anything, all the media, electronic or print media, we use that to sensitize the people. What are some of the challenges that we face, or which we went through? The training cost was quite high, even now it's still high, and it was not easy for us to manage the cost. But what we did, we partnered with the existing NGOs, those that we know that they have the program of training. And after partnering with them, they cushioned the training, and also we had a World Bank came to our aid when they gave us a matching grant. So that way it cushioned the training. The other challenge which we had was the inadequate number of training personnel. First of all, when we started, it was just myself and my husband who used to go out in the rural areas to do the training. But when we started having a lot of farmers and a lot of cooperating partners inviting us to go and train, it was not possible. So AFE, it is an American NGO, came to our aid, and they trained 10 of our staff, whereby even if we have now 5 training at the same time, we'll just divide them into two, then they can go and handle the training. Then the drying methods, just as I talked about, we were using the sun, but we introduced the solar dryer. And with the solar dryer, we found that even the color of the vegetables, we don't lose the chlorophyll in them so much than if at all the time that we were using the sun. And also, you'll find that it's so clean, even when there is wind, the wind cannot affect the vegetables and the fruits. The other challenge was the poor road network, that is accessibility to smallholder farmers. Again, here we lobbied the government and also the NGOs who created the roads. Some of the places which they made the roads, they had no roads whatsoever. So they did that, allowing our trucks to go there and collect the products. And to us, that is national development, because once we have used those roads, they don't close them for silver, but they remain open for everyone else to use. The other challenge was the volume of products that they were supplying to us. So because of that, we have to train more and more farmers to come on board because these are small farmers that we work with. Even the 12,500 I'm talking about is not adequate. We need more farmers actually to be trained, because we don't encourage the farmers to supply everything to us. We want them to retain some of the products for their consumption. Then the commercial markets alone could not, it's not sustainable, was not sustainable. We approached the Minister of Education and World Food Program for the program which I've talked about, so that we could be, feeding the program as they have the school feeding program, that we could participate in that one. Again, the other one is the stringent export requirements into the US. As you know, it's very difficult to supply, the products into America without proper certification. But we fought so hard that right now we have acquired the FDA certification, whereby we are free to supply all our products into America duty-free. So in short, these are some of the challenges that we have had, and some of them we have tried to solve them. Of course, we still have the factory where We have already acquired the equipment because Sylva Food Solutions, we operate in reverse. And what I meant by operating in reverse is that we plan for 5 years, and then we start coming, from 5 years we start coming back until we reach the first year. What I meant is that when we do the planning, like the way we started with the equipment, whether we like it or not, we need to have the factory start running because, or else that equipment is not going to work. We acquired the piece of land. The fact that we have acquired the piece of land, construction has to start, or else the equipment won't work and that piece of land will be idle. So that is the reverse which I talked about. And I'm happy that we are achieving all that. So in conclusion, I would say that these are some of the challenges and these are some of the successes that we have done. Ruth talked about that I'm the president for 48 African countries. That is IAP. What happens is that this IAP, the way it operates is for women who are exporting. And last month we were in America where we went to do a groundbreaking where we have found a lot of market for African products to go into America, and we have succeeded that. And right now, as I'm talking, a lot of orders have actually started, and the way we operate in these 48 African countries is they are all eligible countries for AGOA, whereby if at all one company in America, they want tons and tons of honey, all we do is we just look at our database, and then we allow these women who are in that area to put their heads together, and they will be able to execute any order. That's how we operate. Thank you very much.
Well, there was one more person mentioning, you can leave it there, moringa. I think that was part of the previous discussion as well, and maybe typically it was a woman mentioning moringa and its qualities. Well, I was a bit curious. There was one thing I heard back when you first started your business. I wonder if that was true, that you really started the first business and your activities very much under the radar. Not even your husband knew. Is that true?
Yes, it is true. I'm a caterer by profession. And when I finished my college, I vowed not to work for more than 5 years, but I only worked for 3 years. Then one day I received a letter that I was transferred to head office to go and do something, different from what I did, but I didn't like it, and that is what prompted me to go into the world of business. I went and looked for a small place in the industrial area. And when I wanted to go and start that particular day, I did not tell my husband that I was going to start a business because I didn't want him to discourage me. So all I did, was to pack everything, and I booked the taxi and I went there. And I prepared the food. First of all, I didn't have anyone to go around to tell the people that I had opened the business. So what I did, I closed the windows and I closed the door and I switched on my 2-plate cooker, which my husband was using when he was a bachelor. I took it. Then I started frying onions, garlic, and tomatoes, and each time I was frying, I'll add water, then I cover the pan. And the steam was, going out. Again, I'll cover it, again, I'll open and put a bit of water, until at some point, I was covered, with the steam whereby I can't even see if someone walked in. Then I went and opened the door. I opened the windows and I could see the nice smoke going out. After 5 minutes, people started coming. Have you opened the restaurant today? I said, yes. I told them, yes, I'd opened. I said, please invite your friends also to come at lunch hour. At lunch hour, people started coming, and I started serving them. You want chicken? Do you want beef? And when I served about 15, 20 people, I saw that they were still standing with their plates in their hands. Then I knew to say that, I created a problem. I think I didn't think about what my business, requires. I noticed that I had no tables and chairs where my clients could sit. So I just said, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I know you are wondering as to where to sit. They all answered at the same time, yes. I said, no, what you are going to have today is what we caterers, we call standing buffet. So that was the beginning of my business. They ate in a standing position. But when I sat down, when I finished selling everything, I counted the money which I made that particular day with the food which I just got from home. It was more than the salary that the Minister of Education was giving me. And I made a decision that I was not going to go back.
You can still stay. We have some questions, I think.
Okay.
Well, I was about to ask you what was the key thing to create demand for your products and services, but I think you answered it. That was the fragrance of your food then. And I think you also mentioned, it went very quickly in your presentation up to the big scale here about, what are the challenges now. But as you came out of that, your own kitchen, and when you started out really small, and you were not so experienced as a business person, you cooked really well and so forth, but could you perhaps say something about the steps up to really scaling up like this? What were the key things you went through? Because we've been talking a lot about trial and error in the previous sessions today. And I think you do have some experience of that as well.
Yes, there are a lot of experiences actually when you are doing business, especially in our case. We did not have a lot of role models or someone who could mentor you. We were just trying, you err here, then you learn something. In fact, I remember at this Mulungush Conference Center, I was very small in business. Then I was hired to provide catering. And I was very excited. And I think the number was about 500. It was 150 people to provide catering. So because I was excited, I started cooking in the night. I prepared all the food. And some of the food we just finished in the morning, and I brought the food here. I was very happy when I was, mixing with the female ministers. I told them, no, the food is nice, you enjoy. Then when it was, I think, 10 minutes before, I told my workers to say, let's open the dishes. I found the food, it was like someone was washing with the Boom detergent paste. You see the lather on top. The food had reacted. Because I started cooking in the night. So I felt like the soil could crack and swallow me. So those are some of the challenges. So, so what I did, I just removed those plates and put them down. And then, to tell you the truth, I felt like I wish I could just die. So that I'm not, being asked. So those are some of the challenges that we faced, and also trying. And it gave me, I learned a big lesson, and I consoled myself to say, out of that situation, I've learned something, that next time, I should never prepare food in advance.
Are there questions from the audience as well, Sylvia? Yes, we have one over there from Samir.
I noticed that you collaborated with NGOs to reduce training costs. We've often we've recently started interacting with NGOs who are actually more enterprising than you think, or that I thought. Where, for example, we have the issue of training our micro entrepreneurs, and so we thought to bring the cost down, we'll train with an NGO partner that specializes in training. And at the table where we were talking about partnership, they said, well, what's in it for us? What's in it for the NGOs that you work with?
What are they?
Are they asking you for anything in order to help you train?
Oh, I see. No, for these NGOs, what I noticed from them was that they had the training programs. And there was one thing which they didn't have. They had no market. And me, I went to them, I said, you have the training program, which I also have, but me, once I train your people, I'll sign the MOU and I become the market for them. So it was a stick and a carrot. They wanted the market for their people, and I also wanted them to meet the cost of training. So this is how we have been working with the cooperating partners.
Could I just add to that, as IAP was one of those NGOs.
Yes.
We worked with Sylva Catering for quite some time. And do you remember Veronica near Livingston? She was talking about you at a meeting about 2 weeks ago, saying how fantastic it was to have a market for her produce. Sylva Catering is an NGO that works with smallholder farmers. You are our dream. You are providing a market for the farmers, and you're prepared to invest in that market. So what's in it for us? It's helping us fulfill our mission. I mean, we couldn't ask for more. It's a real pleasure working with you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I must say your organization has been credited with the belief that you have to provide health foods. I think that's one key element that is associated with your organization. And thank you very much for that. But I want to find out, how are you repositioning yourself in the modern era where you are, your niche, which is to provide health food, is sort of being threatened by influx of GMO products. We have been seeing in Zambia recently of influx of multinational companies trying to introduce GMO products. How are you repositioning yourself so that that strong niche of your company is not eroded by the influences of GMOs?
Yeah, when we started, what prompted us to go into the provision of or supporting of indigenous food is that we saw the problem actually in Zambia, that we started cherishing Western food and we were forgetting about our local foods. And we knew very well that, you know, there was a lot in the traditional food. So it was not an easy road. A lot of people actually thought that we're not going to make it. But what we did with the support of the cooperating partners, as he has already alluded to, we started working with the NGOs, and not only the NGOs, even the government. And we had a program where we are calling, we still call it Cook of the Year competition. We thought that if we could touch the women from the provinces, the information actually would disseminate quickly. So we were organizing women to come to Lusaka from the 9 provinces by then. Then we, at the National Museum, we construct the kitchens, 9 kitchens plus our kitchen 10. And then we would invite the government to come and officiate, and also other stakeholders. And we're inviting the schools, also the chefs from all the hotels. Because what used to pain me a lot was a place like a hotel, bigger hotel in Lusaka, start advertising on the media, come on Friday for a Zambian night. I used to feel pain in my blood. Because I was asking myself, I said, what about the rest of the days in a week? Are we not Zambians? So that is the reason why we were including the hotels to say, come and participate. So that when these mothers are providing, are cooking the food, the chefs also will be with them so that they learn. When these mothers go, the hotels should start preparing the traditional food. And also the other thing that we're trying to promote was the unity in food consumption. People were dying, whereby if I am from Northern Province, and my friends in Southern Province, they eat sour milk. Us will call it rotten milk. But the same rotten milk, our friends are eating and they are looking, very, very healthy. So we said, no, I think it's important that we unite people to learn to eat each other's food. And that is how we used to bring those women. And we're telling them that as your friends are cooking, try to visit each kitchen and learn also what they are doing and also the kind of food which they eat. We succeeded in that one because we only did it once. The second year, the government took over from us. What they were asking was just to give them the budget, and then they will sponsor that one and we organize it. Then we knew that it was not enough. We wrote a book because others were saying, no, me, I could have, I like traditional food, but I don't know how to cook. We have written a book. It's called Zambian Cookbook. It is being used in the school curriculum, and also we have made it very cheap because we want each and every Zambian to have that book. So again, in that book, we have used the simple recipes and also the kind of, products that each one can get from the market. And apart from that, also just to try to sensitize the people, I've got, the media gave me the platform every 2 weeks to speak on the national television to talk about the food. And also the print media, up to now, they have given me a column. Every Sunday, if you read the Sunday Times, you find a column, nutritional column. Those are my recipes where I just help people, give them the nutritional aspect of the food, and also those food which we have confirmed that they've got the curative values. When you eat it, that food it will help you. So because of that, I could say that actually we are winning, because right now in Zambia, anyone who is opening the restaurant or the hotel, they are advertising to say you are going to find traditional food, because they know now that traditional food has started taking the center stage than before. You will find that when you have prepared food in the restaurant and you have put beans there and maybe vegetables, someone will come and doesn't have the money, then he will do like this when he reaches the counter. How much is beans? He's looking, here and there to see that no one sees him. How much is beans within Shima? Then you tell him the price. Then when you save him, get the plate very fast and go and sit in the corner, facing this side, because he doesn't want people to see that he's eating beans. Not anymore. Now people would come and say, I want beans. When we were operating at University of Zambia, we changed the mindset of the students. We were brewing traditional drinks, non-alcoholic. We were making munkoyo drink, chiwantu drink, and so forth. And we noticed that actually the exotic drinks, the sales went down, because all the students actually started, bought into drinking nutritious drinks.
What was the response of American market for your product? Was it only preferred by African citizens or also by Americans over there?
When we started, quite all right, the response was not there from the Americans. They would just smile, oh, your packaging is very good. Oh, these products are very nice. But I knew deep down that they were not eating. Then we had to do some psychology to say, what is it that they like most? Then we say, it is traditional for them not to eat their main meal without the soup. So those soups which I showed you, we have made the soups now. And when we sent our samples into America, we were saturated with the orders, whereby I just told them to say, no, please, can you stop getting more orders? Because our machines are not yet installed. But once we have installed our machines, I know very well that the market is something that right now, I'm thinking of buying another machine before we could even install the new one, because the kind of orders which came into America is so huge for the soups. The soups from the same vegetables which they were not eating, but have allowed them to eat using a different route, which is the soups, powdered soups.
I will now hand over to Linda Leifsdotter, and we are moving into the award sessions. Please. Yes, the team can come up as well, definitely. Yes, my name is Linda Leifsdotter, and I am not only running around with a microphone, I'm also the portfolio manager of the Innovation Against Poverty project portfolio. I am going to talk a little bit about the student competition that we had this autumn, and we call it the IAP Student Innovator Award. The purpose with this competition is to encourage young, bright minds to engage in inclusive business. And we had 19 teams from different Swedish universities participating in this competition. They were provided with a poverty problem to solve, and the solution had to be innovative, it had to be commercial, and of course it had to benefit people from living in poverty in some way. Out of the really good ideas that we got, we had to pick one winner. And standing right next to me, we have the winning team, Water Lakou. Their proposed water wall in Haiti impressed the jury very much, and I'm going to read the motivation from the jury right now. The winning team addressed two major challenges in Haiti
drawing on existing technologies and social structures. Through an innovative reinforcement of existing buildings, which doubles as a water filter, families can turn their houses into income-generating ventures by selling filtered water to their communities, creating a long-term sustainable solution for clean water access. The risk of the investment is reduced through support from the wider family group around the family, the Lakou. So now I'm more than happy to hand over the stage to Water Lakou to introduce themselves and their idea. Welcome up.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. And I guess we can start off with saying that we're very impressed by all the nice presentations we heard. And I mean, hopefully at least our young and fresh faces can catch your attention as students. And I will go through them. We have here Fritz Rabela, we have Eric Ast, Grete Verbusaitite, and Anna Larsen, and me, Michael Bekele. And yes, we worked on this project, and we set up this company, Water Lakou. And before we actually jumped into creating this innovation, we first looked at the environment we faced in Haiti, which is the case we were provided with. And we wanted to understand the environment we faced there. And we saw two major problems, as has been shortly outlined before. One problem is the dire housing situation in Haiti and the houses that do not match the environment in that country. The second is the very bad water situation and sanitation situation where people suffer from waterborne diseases. But we also saw a lot of potential in that country, where we saw that it has a very strong community structure, and that is something we wanted to base our innovation on. This community structure is called the Lakou in Haiti, which consists of several households which work together in splitting up works inside their communities, and we wanted to base on that. We also wanted to base on the strong role women have in these Lakous.
So although our main problem was housing, we also wanted to address the water supply in our solution. So at first we wanted to analyze the current situation and see what water supply were available in Haiti. We looked at private suppliers, at government agencies, and also social enterprises. And we saw that there were several problems with these suppliers, such as high prices from the private suppliers, unreliable supply from the government, reaching only around 30% of the population. And with the social enterprises, we saw that their reach was also very small and they had high transportation costs. So we decided that we wanted to address all these problems with our innovation, and Fritz will present that.
So having established that both water and housing markets have gaps in them, it became pretty clear for us that our innovation or our product would have to fulfill two purposes. And one would be to improve the housing situation, and the other would be to create clean water. And this is our innovation, the water wall. And if you look at the green section on the left there, it is an attachment that is built onto an existing wall, and that is built according to research on earthquake, improving houses against earthquakes. So this frame supports the wall and makes it stronger against earthquakes or tropical storms and these kind of things, which we see a lot in Haiti. And then if you look at the other section, on the orange section on this side, that would be the water filtering system, which we include in this wall. And the idea is that it's a very simple system that works with sand, and that's been proven to improve water. So you pour dirty water in the top and you get clean drinking water out of the bottom. And what we think is really exciting about this product is that there are synergies between these two. So the water filter itself further improves the wall and further strengthens the wall, so it's not just the frame. And also, a shortcoming of these filters is that they need a lot of space, but by designing them in such a way that they fit into this frame, that is also solved.
So what we did then was that we took this product and we put it into a community setting, the Lakous that Michael mentioned. And these communities consist of families, of course, and we chose to focus on women and their families. In order to get there, Water Lakou has chosen to come there and install the water wall and lend it out. And the families themselves, they are the ones that operate the water wall, and they're able to consume the drinking water that they produce, and they're able to sell the surplus to their surrounding community. And through our calculations, we have been able to show that this will be profitable for the families themselves, that will be able to get more earnings, and they will be able to pay off the water wall within 3 to 5 years. And for Water Lakou, us as a business, we would be able to make about a 15% annual income.
All right. So just to close things out, there were really 3 things that excite us about this project and that we think form the core of the innovation. And the first is the redefinition of the house as an enterprise, as a business which can support its own cost. The second was our integration of the product into the existing social structure, making sure we didn't have a square peg in a round hole. And finally, the empowerment of particularly female individuals to become small business owners within a few years. So that's what compelled us about this and made us really proud of it. And we're also really excited to be here with all of these big brains and development experience to get your opinion. So please grab us after this. We're really interested to hear the opinions of this project, any input that you might have. And I think we're really grateful for the opportunity to be here, from the start of the competition, the ability to participate in that, and be here with all of you today and get to hear about all the exceptional work that's happening through IAP. So on behalf of Water Lakou, we'd like to thank IAP, CETA, and Price Waterhouse for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Now I know that a few companies, specifically 3 companies, have been participating and being slightly nervous up to this point. Who is it going to be? The 3 nominees for this year's IAP Awards are Eco-Fuel Africa, who we invite on stage. It will be represented by Sanga Moses. We have Ignitia, represented by Lisa Petrikowska. Welcome you back onto the stage. And finally, Swedstream, represented by Shukrat Yusupov. So we will start this ceremony by letting them present a short summary of their business and their IAP project. Moses, will you please start?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, my name is Sanga Moses from Uganda. And I started this company called Eco-Fuel Africa to solve a number of problems. The first one is the problem of energy poverty in Africa. Over 500 million people in Africa don't have access to clean cooking fuel. And because of this, Africa is losing its forests at twice the world average. And this exposes also many people in Africa to many problems like indoor air pollution, which kills so many people in Africa. And this is not acceptable. And it also has implications on people's incomes. People at the base of the pyramid spend up to 40% of their incomes on fuel alone. And this aggravates poverty levels. Sometimes households that don't can't afford it have to skip meals because there's no fuel to cook the food. And also it wastes a lot of time. People have to spend up to 5 hours looking for wood and then walking back home and then preparing the meal. It is really time consuming, and that is wasting time that people would spend on other productive activities. So we thought that we could find a solution, and we came up with a simple business model that is inclusive. We invented some simple technology that we give to the farmers. The farmers turn their waste into a product called char that we buy, and then we can bring this to a central facility, or we can micro-franchise someone locally in the village to turn it into fuel. And then we sell it through a network of women who can then sell it back to the communities, and they make a profit. And this is what the kiln looks like. This is what the micro-franchise is. This is one of our our retailers, sorry. And we think by doing that, we are reducing indoor air pollution. We are making household cooking safer, less burns, and we are saving people money so they can invest that money in income-generating activities. They can take their children to school. They can start businesses. And we are also saving people time. So if a woman had to spend many hours a day cooking and looking for wood, they can go to the garden and dig, and their children will have food to eat. And we reduce greenhouse gas emissions, first of all. Trees, our natural carbon sinks, they store CO2 and give us oxygen. And secondly, our fuel burns less, emits less CO2 compared to the alternatives. And this ultimately saves lives, reduces poverty, and empowers people, and preserves the environment. So this is our theory of change. Basically, what we are trying to achieve is we want to reach at least 10 million households. That could be about maybe 100 million people by the year 2030. We want to create many jobs, and we want to ensure that people can go to school, people can have decent meals, and the world can be better. So that's what we stand for. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Lisa Petrakowska here again. I recently, just an hour ago, I think, talked about all our failures within Ignitia. Now I hope to show you another side of us as well. Let me see here. Ignitia's mission is to provide reliable weather information in the tropics. We see our market as the agricultural market, small-scale farmers that today have smaller plots than 2 hectares. We cover 15 countries already with our tropical weather forecast, but we have only launched this product in Ghana. After we started in June this year, we have, last week I think we cut the magic threshold of having sent 500,000 text messages. So our information is all distributed by text message. It reaches the farmer 5 days a week, early in the morning, and then he can plan. Then he can plan for the day of the coming day and the day after. But before digging any longer into the business model, I would just like to say what is unique with us. Well, if you would take a comparison of a weather model, there are several there out in the market. The ones that big media companies use, like BBC, CNN, are global models, and today they have a resolution of 27 kilometers. We are down today at the 3-kilometer level. And the reason for this is that if you have thunderstorms in the tropics, they're very small. So this little grid of a satellite picture that you see there is the size of Småland in Sweden. Not very big. For you who are Swedes would know exactly how big. But for you who are not, can just take a look at one of the red dots. Those would cover 2 kilometers. When you put these kind of model data into the 2 different models, something remarkable happens. We can now structure and see the physics of what is causing the thunderstorms, while a global model actually smooths out the rain in the whole of the grid, so it doesn't rain at all. The result is that we get an weather prediction that is rather accurate and reliable, that we can send out all over the tropics every day. So, during our IAP project, I can't keep the letters anymore, IAP it's in Swedish, we started one market segment, which was the wholesalers. So we tried to find farmer cooperatives that could buy our product, and by that reach many farmers at the same time. This year we have reached about a little bit over 3,000. The customers that we have currently reaches 160,000 farmers, and 3 of them have already told us that they are gonna expand fully with our product because they're very happy farmers at the moment. 2014, we are going to start with distributing this instead by a mobile company. And the reason for this is that not everyone in West Africa as a farmer is connected to farmer corporation. So by this you can actually subscribe to the weather forecast yourself. The need of a small-scale farmer's need of a forecast starts already with when he makes the first decision. What is he going to plant this year? What seed is he going to use? Is it going to be drought resistant that are slightly more expensive? Is he going to go for 3 hectares? Is he going to go for ½ hectare? And for that you would need a seasonal outlook that says this year is going to be drier or wetter than a normal year. It continues with preparing and planting, everything from hiring that tractor that you need to putting in fertilizers and pesticides that are very weather sensitive. And ends with the harvesting that normally needs very dry conditions. Totally, this means risk reduction, less seeds. You can actually optimize your inputs, and finally, food security. Let's see, not changing. This is what our forecast looks like. It's very, very basic. What the farmer needs to know, we have figured after 4 years of being in West Africa, is that he would like to know if it's going to rain or if it's not going to rain. And by making it very, very simple, we have made these pictures where the farmer can compare with reality, and then our picture of a cloud and a sun. This together adds up to a text message. It can be received on any phone. It looks right the same on even the oldest versions of phones. And it comes also with a text message just to make sure that if the farmer doesn't understand, he can take help of someone who maybe can read it for him and help him to understand it. The cost is very low. It's $6 per farmer per year. It's hyper-local, so every 3 kilometers we have a weather forecast. And from next season on, we can automatically find the farmer's GPS coordinates, so he actually gets the right forecast for his farm. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Shuhrat, and I'm representing a company called Swedstream, based in Stockholm, Sweden. Yeah. Actually, our organization was supported by SIDA in order to support a project called Shifo Sound. Shifo stays for the word. It's an ancient word, the Persian ancient word means health and cure. And sound is, it's like we took like ultrasound in order to make it more brandy and fancy, called Shifo Sound. And most of you in this room may know that every day approximately 1,000 women die every day due to the complication and during the pregnancy and childbirth. And therefore, we were focusing to eliminate those problems during the pregnancy. And by gathering the right partners on the board, you can see some of them here. It's Swedish-based institutions and the local government of Uganda and Tajikistan. As you know, you may already read on the booklets. So we are going to operate at the beginning in Tajikistan and Uganda. And the competitive advantage and the model of our ecosystem, I would say. So what is that? Like today, you may say, if you go to Uganda, you can find this ultrasound service like in the hospitals or in the private clinics. Even you go to the Central Asia, the service is available. But if you see, like in this graph, like the comparison of the public clinics and the private, and we put ourselves like Shifo Sound. It's a black one, and no one, like according to our initial analysis, no one is delivering ultrasound checkups in the villages or in the rural areas, and therefore we believe that by providing these services in the villages, like as you know, like most of these countries, they do outreaches. Like in Uganda, in order to do some, to provide some services or family planning, the nurse go to the village and provide some services there. And some of you already maybe saw the technology, the ultrasound machine, which I presented in the exhibition session. And what is actually this Shifo Sound actually? We actually packaged everything, like starting looking for the available technologies. One of them is medical imaging technologies. The second one is mobile technology. So every nurse might take this device and go everywhere. And if its network is available, like 3G or GPRS, they may store or manage the patient's history, data, sorry. Something wrong. And also, we consider also to make it so simple, so this technology, like this hardware, might talk to other systems. We have standards like HL7, so the information which will be stored in the computer may communicate to other information systems in the healthcare sector. Within this package, we also include the capacity building. You may know, like the lack of the nurses and especially sonographers is the problem. Therefore, we consider also to have this building block in order to develop the capacity for the sonographers. And also gathering the right partners. We learned, like, without right partners, I mean, the project definitely may fail, especially in the healthcare system. Like if you go to, for instance, to Tajikistan, or Uganda, they have different standards in order to standardize your product, like especially in the healthcare. It's very tricky, and some small law might just block your project. And behind all of this, it's not like easy to provide technology. You also should maintain and support. The technology might be broken, or the end user might have some questions or support. And that's why we also include within this project technology and support and maintenance. And in the whole package, we call it She4 Sound. And we believe, so by providing this service in the rural areas, we make this world better. Thank you.
We now have an honorary guest and also tonight's host for the reception here to do this ceremony. May I please welcome the Ambassador of Sweden to Zambia, Ms. Lena Nordstrom.
I rather feel like I'm part of all this work, you know, because I've been running around in this place, and seeing you, listening a little bit most of this afternoon. You know that this is a Global Entrepreneurship Week. I hope you realize that. So it's a very good start in Lusaka and Zambia that Innovations Against Poverty is here to kick off the Global Entrepreneurship Week. Tomorrow and the coming days, we will continue in the hall next to this one with more of innovation and more of entrepreneurship, with a joint conference called Sweden at Zambia, Enhancing Our Enterprise, with about a little bit more people than we see in this room right now, but co-creative and interactive conference on entrepreneurship with a lot of people from Zambia, and some also have come from Sweden. And not in this room, but actually also with a Swedish connection, we will continue on Thursday and Friday with a workshop on industrial development with Chamber Trade Sweden and 34 companies from the Zambian industry, which is work done together with the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, ZACI, who are also co-hosts of this thing we are going to start off tomorrow. And not even that is enough, you know. Then, as part of this week, we will tomorrow have a Mobile Monday on Tuesday, which will deal with mobile health, which is part of the program in Sweden and Zambia. And the weekend, with coming up starting from Friday to Sunday, we will have a startup weekend, which is part of the global startup weekends that InDevelop and others work with across the whole world as part of the Global Entrepreneurship Week. So it'll be quite a bit of Sweden in Lusaka in Zambia for this coming week. But what is even more important is that it will be a lot about innovation and entrepreneurship. And why is that so important to us? Well, we do think that it can make a difference and be part of the work of reducing poverty. So now when I've said all that, I will now read my speech. So I should have said from the beginning, I should have come in here when you started today and said, welcome to Zambia, because some of you do not live in this wonderful country. It's a great pleasure for me to represent Sweden and the Embassy of Sweden here today. And we are very happy to have you all here. And as I said, some of you have traveled quite far. I usually say that development doesn't come by miracle. It doesn't come by miracle anywhere. it has to be driven by a range of actors. Development is actually the result of hard and consistent work and of responsible political leaders and governments, informed and demanding citizens, and innovative and serious business actors, all working together. That's when we can have development. Development also requires good ideas and constant development of new solutions to development challenges. And this is what the Innovations Against Poverty program is aimed at supporting. The purpose is to stimulate the private sector to contribute to pro-poor growth. That's a very hard word to say for a Swede. Pro-poor growth. By focusing more of its effort, innovative ability, and resources to develop and invest in products, systems, and services which will benefit people living in poverty. The funding of the Innovations Against Poverty programs comes from the Swedish government. As I mentioned earlier in this conference, several companies operating in Zambia are among those who have been selected for support from this program. I have been sitting in the back listening a little bit because it's, in this job it always feels terrible when you come and you say something and you haven't heard the stories. So I've been listening to some of these stories all the way from Sylvia's catering story. And we have heard about the results, and also I know that you have talked about the challenges in inclusive business journeys. And this is something that the Innovation Against Poverty companies have in common, also with companies supported by the Business Innovation Facility. And I'm pleased to see that we can collaborate with other programs to exchange knowledge and experiences. With this Innovation Against Poverty Award, we wish to celebrate the results and give an extra encouragement to some of those outstanding companies that so passionately and tirelessly kept building their inclusive businesses. Last year, it was Synergy in Kenya that was awarded the prize. I will now read the nomination for the winner of this year's award. The company has piloted and launched a very innovative service. It is unique also in the context of the African continent, as it provides an essential and previously non-existent service to African farmers. The team behind it has managed to adapt sourcing of weather data and has found effective ways of translating it into a service that is accessible also to people who cannot read. The challenge to grow has made it necessary for the company to broaden its customer base to also include middle market clients. Through farmers' associations, the smallholder farmers still remain at the core of their mission. And the winner is? Ignitia. Eco-Fuel. And Swedstream, please. So, and we'll see you at the residence. Yes.
The conference is coming to an end, but before closing and continuing with the reception at the ambassador's residence, I welcome Lena Nordstrom back on stage to do the closing.
Well, I think this has been an extremely interesting day, hearing about so many of you. Last year, we didn't have as many participants from the project. So I'm extremely happy to see so many of you in here today. It's been interesting to hear of the issues you've grappled with and how you've dealt with them. I have enjoyed seeing also how you have interacted with each other, that you have hopefully found links and linkages that will help you on your journey as you proceed. It is clearly a privilege to be part of a team like the IAP team at PwC. It has been interesting years for our organization, for the team, and to work with and for CEDA on this. And I think that the spirit and the energy that fills us has helped through, because this is a pilot, you are piloting, but this is also a pilot for CEDA and it's a pilot for us. So everyone has been going through similar sort of learning curves in different ways. I bring with me a lot of inspiring ideas and thoughts. I really liked your Sanga, your slide with all these bubbles and what it takes to actually achieve things in the BOP market. And I do especially like the fail fast and learn fast bubble, because I think that's something that we bring with us. And in learning fast and developing and changing and adapting, it comes back to the support that you get in terms of, or the support that I think you need in terms of having flexibility, patience, and sort of a long-term view from the support around you. I would just like to close in saying that I think I'm glad that all this energy is also hopefully leading to a continuation of the IAP program. We're looking forward to seeing what happens with that, making it possible for even more of you, more projects like yours to benefit and to thrive. It will also be interesting to follow you through the next few years. There were a number of slides that we didn't show here that are in the report in terms of your expectations of your growth of reach to the BOP, and your expectations of growth in terms of turnover and commercial viability. If you come anywhere close to those expectations, a couple of years from now, we will see millions of lives being influenced. You were talking about 10 million people. Others are talking also the same kinds of numbers, or at least hundreds of thousands of beneficiaries, which is quite substantial, quite amazing. We will follow you, even if we're not working. The team will, most of us, will stop working with this by Christmas. Some of us will have some kind of role in the next few months, but we will definitely follow you. We hope that the hub is going to continue working, and we will continue to have a forum through the hub to communicate with you and continue learning and seeing how things are going for you. So again, thank you all for coming. Andrew, a special thanks to you for holding everything together, and to the embassy for assisting as well in the organization of this. I never thought organizing a conference like this at sort of 7,000 kilometers distance was going to be so smooth. And Ruth and the rest of the team who have been very much working with this program and getting through this, thank you very much for all your hard work.
Thank you very much, Lena. Thank you. Now, for the evening, we hope many of you will be able to join for the reception. It will be at the Swedish residence. And I wrote here, because I thought we'd be a bit late on time, that we probably needed 5 minutes and out. but we are a bit ahead of time. So in about half an hour, we will have a shuttle leaving from just outside. So those of you who have an exhibition outside, you have time to wrap it up. For those of you who are from here and are going to make it your own way over to the residence, you have the address here. So we hope to see you all there just after 6, about 6:15. Would be great if everyone was there at 6:15. And do remember the badge. The badge is your entrance. There is a security, and you won't get in without it. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you there. And if not, come and talk to us. We are staying behind a little bit, of course, to wrap it up. Thank you.